Welcome to the Life Makeovers podcast. My name is Cindy D. Whitmer, and I am the Midlife Makeover Coach, helping you turn your midlife into your best life, one step at a time. Through powerful conversations, my own midlife roller coaster story, and over 3 decades of helping people transform their lives through counseling and coaching, I am on a mission to help you create your own definition of success and happiness. Thank you for being here. Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope your summer has been going well. Mine has been a busy one so far. And recently, I helped move some of our kids from Oklahoma to Texas. And I wanted to tell you a little story about that because we have a son who recently graduated from warrant officer training in the military at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and he is going to be leaving for Korea in a few weeks. And in the meantime, his wife, our daughter-in-law, and our 2 grandchildren are going to live in San Antonio, Texas, near some other family of hers. And so we went down to attend his graduation and to help pack them up and move them and unpack them in San Antonio. And so anyway, it was, our time with them is always so wonderful. This trip was particularly packed with a lot of work to do, of course, to transition them out of one place and into another. Oh, excuse me. But anyway, I had something happen that I just did not imagine would happen. And it really got me thinking. So I wanted to share this little story with you. So, we've having traveled the day before, we had, gotten up early and gone to the graduation, and then she and I and the kids went in the car, and then my husband, Ed, and his son, Matt, went in the U-Haul truck on this, drive down to Southern Texas and so forth. And anyway, our day was long and didn't end early. And then the next day we need to get up and unpack them, right? So, we get over there and we get the keys, and we're starting to unload and trip, from the truck down the sidewalk, down the hall, into the apartment she's found. A very nice place down there. And so we're going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I'm carrying all kinds of things, as is everyone else: furniture, boxes, bedding, toys. I mean, you name it, everything. And after a while of that, maybe an hour or so, I don't know how long it'd been actually, or maybe 45 minutes or so, I looked down, and the main diamond, the center diamond in my ring — I just got married in May — and the main emerald shaped diamond in my ring was not there. It was gone. Actually, I looked down and I thought, well, why does my ring look so weird? Like, what am I looking at here? Just in that split second, I was like, is there a bug on my ring? Why does it look like that? And then I realized it was gone. The diamond had fallen out of the ring. And I burst into tears. I felt so terrible because my beloved dearest Ed had gotten me this beautiful ring. I mean, it's the most beautiful piece of jewelry I've ever seen in my life. I love it so much. And the main diamond was gone. And I was just mortified. I was just like, oh, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? I'm so sorry. So I went to him. I was crying. I was like, oh God, I lost my diamond. I don't know how. I don't know how it happened. I'm so sorry. It's not there. I'm crying. And he's like hugging me, and he's so calm, so calm. And he's like, it's okay. We'll find it. Don't worry. We'll find it. And I'm thinking, yeah, right. We're going to find it. I mean, the whole apartment was total chaos, piles of stuff everywhere. And then, of course, there was the truck, and then there was a grass around the truck, and then the ramp, and then the sidewalk, and then the apartment complex hallway, and then their whole apartment where I'd been in every room carrying all kinds of stuff and dropping it down and laying it here and dumping it over there and piling it up over here and there and everywhere. And I didn't know how long it'd been fallen out of the ring anyway. So of course the four of us are looking everywhere for this diamond, and none of us can find it. And I am just beside myself. I'm just crying. Even dear Matt came over, gave me a hug. He's like, it'll be okay, Cindy. We'll find it. It'll be okay. And then our daughter-in-law, JoJo's like helping me breathe. She's putting me through breathing exercises. Okay, so here's the truth. This is honestly, if you don't know me really well, I'll tell you a little something about myself. I, for the most part, couldn't care less about material things. Like, honestly, I mean, I have material things, but I just don't, I'm not attached to many material things. I don't get into things that much. Honestly, like I went through an exercise once where we were told, if your house burns to the ground and you're guaranteed to, everyone will get out alive, animals, pets, family, whatever, what 5 things would you take? What would you pick up and take out of your house if you knew you had time and everybody would get out alive? In other words, what 5 things do you value the most? Well, honestly, I kind of struggled with that activity because there's nothing that I think, oh, I just got to have that, or I can't possibly replace that or whatever. But if I was doing that, answering that question at this time in my life, I would, of course, I'd be wearing the wedding ring. So that would be going out the door with me. But if I wasn't, I would grab it, even though it's replaceable, but still. And then I would like grab my computer just to make my business life easier. I would grab my phone just to make that easier, grab my purse with all my stuff in it, my IDs, my credit cards and all that, just to make that easier, things like that. But pretty much everything else could be replaced or, for the most part. Anyway, so I'm not that materialistic, but my wedding ring was gone, the diamond in my wedding. So I kept looking, but they needed to keep unloading, and I kept looking and I was crying. And then I said to my daughter-in-law, I said, it is just a ring and it is insured, and I gotta just let it go. It's okay. I gotta just accept it if it's gone, but I did keep looking, and all of a sudden I pick up this toy, this big black toy that's really a little car that the kids can drive outside, but it was in the house. I picked it up, and underneath was a little bag on the floor, and I just sort of slid that bag over, and I'll be darned, there was this white looking rectangle down on the wood floor. And I was like, oh, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I leaned down, and my daughter-in-law was right there. She's like, did you find it? And I'm like, I did. There it is. There it was. Yay. So then I'm crying because I'm so happy. I'm so relieved. And I go rushing out the door to the truck to tell Ed and Matt that I had found the ring, and oh, thank God. And I felt so relieved, and la da 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 da. Well, anyway, okay. So, and just so the prongs were not bent or anything, so I thought maybe I caught the ring on something when I was carrying all this stuff, and that's how the diamond fell out or whatever. But the prongs were in place. They weren't bent. And so that was interesting. Anyway, later the jewelers explained to me that my kind of ring, the metal, is such that the prongs can bend and then they go back in place. Like they're movable, they're bendable, so they go back in place. And they did note that it was a little compromised. But anyway, so then they said to me, they said, this is a fine piece of jewelry. Are you treating this jewelry like it is this ring like it's a fine piece of jewelry? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? They're like, are you sleeping with it on? And I'm like, well, yeah. And they're like, do you shower with it on? I'm like, well, sometimes. And they're like, do you exercise with them on? I'm like, most definitely, yes. And they're like, you're not treating this like fine jewelry. You need to wear this, protect it from your sweat, from water, from lotion, from soap, from, I take it off to like go paint, go stain something when I'm doing some pretty hard outdoor work on our property, things like that. But otherwise I wear it, or but now I don't, I take it off a lot. But anyway, so there's a lot of lessons. There were a lot of lessons here for me with this. First of all, when I was getting to the point of sort of accepting the fact that it was gone, I kind of was like, okay, it's insured. I'm not going to find it. Blah. That's when I found it. So I sort of had let go of my attachment to it just enough to say, okay, I need to just work on accepting that it's, whatever. That's when it showed up. Very interesting. And then it was such a wonderful experience for me to experience the calmness and kindness of my husband in response to this. Like, he just was calm and kind the whole time. He was comforting me. He was not mad at me. He wasn't frustrated with me. He wasn't, he didn't lose his temper. I mean, he never loses his temper. It was just so wonderful to experience that kind of just accepting what was and being calm around it. And the kids told me to, you didn't do anything wrong. You were just helping us. All you were doing was helping us. And so there was that. And then the jeweler's explaining to me that I need to treat my ring with great care, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is a beautiful ring. I love it so much. Because it's a wedding ring, I just think of wearing it 24/7. That's really how I approach the wearing of my wedding ring. But I've learned, that just like the marriage, which I need to take care of and respect 24/7 for it to be a successful, healthy marriage, I need to take great care of this beautiful, beautiful ring. These rings I've been given, which I'll show you, those of you who are on YouTube, there it is. So it was that middle, larger diamond right there that was So we want to treat ourselves and others like a fine piece of jewelry and not put them through things that are harsh for them or destructive, but rather treat them kindly, with grace, with respect, and really also think about, what's important to us, what we really value, and what we're going to attach ourselves to. So anyway, I hope this little story was helpful, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Life Makeovers podcast. If you'd like to connect with me on social media, find out more about my coaching programs, or download my free ebook, The Midlife Makeover Method, The Secret to Loving Yourself Fully and Living on Your Terms, then head over to my website at www.cindydwhitmer.com and have a wonderful day.